Hey guys, Lucas from iExplore here. Today I'm going to explore this area called Yurakucho, which is kind of famous for its, we could say, like under the girder area where there's the train tracks above, so you're going to hear a lot of noisy trains and all these little bars and stuff underneath. But I wanted to talk about something with you guys, or talk about something to you guys while I explore this area, and that is this concept that you don't really need a camera to do the essential part of what photography is. And I know you're probably thinking like, it's just a stupid clickbait title. What are you talking about? Of course you need a camera to do photography. That's the point. Otherwise, what's going on? But I think if you hear me out, you'll understand where I'm coming from. It's not that you can't, that the camera's not important. It's that the beginnings of what you're doing, the fundamental aspect of what we're doing happens more in the mind than in the camera. Okay? But more about that as we explore this area behind me.
iExplore.
All right, guys, so what am I talking about, this you don't need a camera business? Well, I heard it put very beautifully once by Axel, and I don't know if he stole this from somewhere or he came up with it, but basically he said photography is about your mind, your eye, and your heart. Meaning that it's about how you perceive the world, how you see the world, your perspective on it, and then your emotional reaction, right? I also like to think of it kind of a slightly different but related way, where I say 90% it's about perception or emotional reaction. I kind of combine those. It's 9% about where you're actually standing, so that's how you frame, right, your composition, and only 1% about what actually happens in the camera. So if it's only about 1% about what happens in the camera, that means 99% of it happens outside of the camera, in your brain and in your eyes and in your heart, as we said, right? So therefore, to me, the camera is a formality in photography. It's just that part, it's necessary for that step where you want to like record what you see so that other people can see it. But the actual perceiving and appreciating of the world around you, that happens all in here or in here, whichever you prefer. So that's why to me photography is about, or is not necessary to have a camera to do photography, really. I've certainly found myself many times stumbling upon something beautiful and just admiring it without a camera because I don't have it on me that day, okay? So as we shoot this area, I want to try to keep that in mind and kind of reiterate what I'm talking about, okay? So let's explore this area, do a little bit of street photography. It's a very photogenic space, so let's check it out. Oh, almost got run over by a truck. Yeah, I don't know, wasn't ready for that at all. Let's see. Okay, missed that guy too. I wasn't ready for him either, but let's keep going. Although, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. I love the junk in his trunk, right? I love this. The way it bends the light, this is gorgeous. And I imagine a lot of other people would just ignore this because who cares about this thing, right? I think this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about that I like to shoot. Oh my God, another truck. Here we go. Arigato. いろいろ。これは趣味だけ。これは YouTube のため。そう。ティーチャー、そう。写真ティーチャー。そう。ありがとう、頑張って。There we go. All right, it's really noisy, so okay, hold on. I'm gonna get a photo of this badass machine too, because that's also cool. So you see, my point is that I'm shooting things that I just find interesting. All right. Okay, let's get out of this noise. Let's come over here. It's super noisy over here. Oh, yeah, it's intense. All the noise, the trains and all that stuff. Basically, guys, what I'm trying to say is I'm shooting things that I just find interesting, even if I don't have the camera. That's the point. Photography, as I've said this many times, especially on my blog, it's about mindfulness. It's about looking at the world and accepting it as it is without much prejudice. And then, therefore, trying to appreciate it. Okay? So, and I want to also point out that by doing that, it can lead to unexpected, serendipitous opportunities or interactions. In this case, a funny little chat with a guy in a truck, right? So photography is like a way to get out into the world and have an adventure. That's why you don't really need a camera, because I could do the same stuff, another truck. I could do have the same kind of adventure technically without the camera, right? Camera is just sort of like a catalyst for all of this, right? But it's not the fundamental aspect of it. So why am I, let's keep going, but why am I talking about this? Why, it seems like a stupid thing to even bring up, because I find that in this day and age, there is so much focus on cameras. You know, and I'm guilty of it too on this channel. Recently I made some videos about the Z6 and stuff, but honestly, who cares about the Z6 or whatever camera you're using? That's not why we're out here in the streets, right guys? So that's the point I'm trying to make, is don't lose sight of that. Sure, we fetishize the gear is really cool. I like buying the new toy and playing with it. It certainly affords different ways of shooting. But what you need to keep in mind always is that that is not what photography is about. It's not about the cameras. It's about the experiences in the world around you and how you perceive it, okay? I'll put my mask on here, it's a little crowded. All right. So we're gonna explore this area a bit more. Very fun, lively area. Izakayas and all that. Actually, I've obviously shot here a million times. There's a cool shot from the side here, back that way, that I really like, because then you get all the lights and you get this cool curve. And then, you know, if a bullet train goes by above, it looks really sweet. As we wait for a train, I want to also mention, on a side note, I know I just said cameras are only 1% of the video. Technical stuff doesn't matter, but it matters a little bit. And I want to reiterate that recently I found this cool setting for metering that somebody on our channel recommended to us, and that's to use center-weighted metering and then set it to average so that I get a little bit more consistent metering, and I'm finding that I like it. So I'll put there should be a note on the screen right now explaining what exactly I'm talking about, but I highly recommend it. It's the cool new thing for me in my Z6. It made my Z6 shooting experience that much better. The reason I bring it up right now at this moment is I don't like when camera settings and fiddling with the camera gets in the way of the world. So all that stuff I just said kind of goes out the window sometimes when you're like struggling with the camera and the camera's just not doing what you want. The perfect camera just takes the photo perfectly, exactly how, you know, it can read your mind and just do what you want. It doesn't exist, unfortunately, but that would be great, because I'm not out here to play with the camera. I'm out here to experience and perceive the world around me. Okay? Let's see here. It'd be nice to get a train on the closest tracks. There should be a bullet train coming by soon. One second here. Okay. Okay. Again, I try to use settings that just require the least amount of fiddling with the camera. So in the evenings these days, I keep it on M and auto ISO with a maximum ISO of 6400. And then I just change the shutter speed as needed. So right now I'm on 125th. If I'm going to shoot something that moves, I'm going to go faster. If something doesn't move, I'm going to go slower. Okay. Of course, these days, a lot of places are closed. Usually this one on the left here is open, but it is what it is. But this little underground passage, or under the train track passage, feels underground, but we're just under the train tracks, is a really cool spot. Very nice vibe in here. Okay. All right, it's okay. Let's go back this way. And we're gonna go into a little side passage in here. And you know, this used to be really gritty and kind of underground. Maybe let's let this guy go first. But, oh, okay, he's not going. But they recently renovated it, so it's all like brand new now and clean. Doesn't quite have the vibe it used to have, but it's still pretty cool. So it starts off really dingy and dark, and then it gets, and the trains are gonna be super loud. You know, this is the obvious thing, right? This is the thing that's interesting. What anybody who comes here is going to see and look at this and see, oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, I think it's cool too. Again, we're going to go through there, but the thing that really interests me is off to the side here. This dingy little corner, right, with the graffiti and the empty beer bottle. Because to me, at least, it tells a bit more of a story. And so I'm going to shoot a photo of this, like how this panel breaks the graffiti and stuff, right? So again, that to me is the kind of essence of photography, is discovering these things for yourself. Right? Learning about yourself what you appreciate in the world, what is interesting. So to me, this dingy, dirty graffiti is more interesting than that whole bright, shiny street. Although it's still cool on its own, right? But I prefer this. I'm more inclined to photograph this than the other thing. Just love how the paneling breaks up the graffiti itself. Then I'll get one of the whole thing. Why not? Nice. Good. Simple shot. It's not going to win any awards. No one's going to really be impressed by it, but it makes me happy. That's important. Right? Let's look around more over here. We're going to eventually go back there. Sometimes I like to check this little corner because people come and smoke here. You see there's some cigarette butts. So sometimes it makes for interesting, juxtapositions. And then from here, actually, I like this composition with this like old sign, a bit of that graffiti. And now if somebody comes through here, that would be pretty cool. I feel like someone was about to come in. There was a shadow. Okay. All right, whatever. We'll go through there, that passage. And somebody came. That's okay. He wasn't that interesting, so that's fine. I don't even feel bad about that. Some guy in shorts and flip-flops, like me. What I really want is some kind of like a, Japanese businessman or something like that. But it's okay. Not a big deal. Let's pass through this super bright street. I'm probably going to shoot nothing because it's just all brand new. But you never know. All right. Ooh. That's busy. All right. Nice. Anyway, that's a really boring shot, but I wanted to get it something simple. Let's come over here. Quite like this place from the other side of the street because then you can see all the lights and stuff. But then a little bit of the train, you can get more context. Okay? All right, so from here, looks pretty gorgeous to me. I'm gonna make my shutter really slow. See if I can get some motion blur in my shots. It would be really nice to get that mythical bullet train that we didn't get earlier on the closer tracks going that way. I'm going to wait this time. I'm really going to wait this time. I'm committed now. We're waiting for this train. It's coming. But you see, that's kind of the point, is I walked by that entire street of all that stuff. It just didn't say anything to me. But I walked through there. But here I'm going to stand for 10 minutes and wait for this idea of the train going by, because that just fascinates me. The still city with the city in motion around it, and the lights and the different colors, the blue light up there, the gold light down there, it fascinates me. And I could stand here and just look at it, forgetting the camera. I might pause for a moment. Or even as I walk by, I might not stop, but I'll look at it with intent, right? That's the idea. Oh, there it is. so back up to a 10. Alright. It's a good thing. Awesome. It's a good thing they make those trains super long. So I had like 30, maybe not 30, but like 20 seconds to get this shot. And there we go. Very good. All right. Pays to be patient. Let's keep going. So I'm going to speed up my stuff here, go back to 125th, f2.8, so I'm ready for action. And yeah, let's cross. I want to visit another little spot that really catches my eye. So this was a little bit more, you could say a little touristy or something like, it doesn't take much perception to find that interesting or beautiful, right? This next place I want to check out, I think is a little bit more, I could say, esoteric, like a kind of a, you have to be into it to actually appreciate it. Oh yeah, right. So Axel says I have a word for an esoteric photo, and yeah, he's right. I call it a natto photo. Natto being a type of Japanese food, which is basically a soybean that's been fermented. And they're a little stinky, they taste kind of weird, but they're very good for you. So they're hard to eat and appreciate and enjoy, but when you do, there's a good payoff, right? And so let's go this way. So that's how I think about certain kind of photos. Photos that are harder to appreciate, but ultimately have more substance are natto photos. And that's to be contrasted with popcorn photos, which is something that anybody can enjoy. So anybody likes popcorn, right? You can eat popcorn. It doesn't take any real mental appreciation to enjoy popcorn. Popcorn's delicious. Nothing wrong with popcorn, but just the kind of contrast there, right? So here's a bit more of a natto spot. Actually, before that natto spot, look at this natto right here. These pipes, this is absolutely gorgeous pile of pipes. Incredible. Okay, so I'm going to go down to 20th and F4 because I want a decent amount of DOF, depth of field. Okay, very cool. I don't like these, the notice is there, but the pipes themselves are cool. Then we're going to go into this passage here and shoot this. And I love this. This is really cool. I've shot this quite a few times in various ways, but honestly, it never gets old. I'm going to go a little forward because this light is a little blinding. And then maybe I'm going to crouch down. Honestly, this works better with a really wide lens, like a 14 mil. I've shot it before, but nonetheless, it's a beautiful scene, and it's the kind of place that catches my attention and makes me want to spend some time hanging out here, right? Shooting the pipes, the lights. I really like this amalgamation here of wires and whatnot. I love how this conduit just sort of snakes up, right? And again, going back to the initial thesis of this video, I want to say that even if I happen to not have my camera, if I pass through a place like this, I would definitely stop and just admire it. Even though it's absolutely disgusting and ugly, it's just kind of interesting to me, right? So that's that idea of perception. And then how I shoot it, technically, it's really straightforward. There's not much thought that had to go into how I just shot that photo. Even framing it was not that complicated. The most important thing was the fact that I even found it interesting to begin with. That's what I mean by you don't need a camera to do photography, because that visual interest of things is more important. All right, cool. Here's more stuff that I like. Actually, right now this looks absolutely fantastic. I love these wires going across the street. And then the vertical lines behind them, the kind of contrast, it looks just absolutely gorgeous. Wow. Oh yeah. More of this vertical mess that is so common in these back alleys in Tokyo. Absolutely gorgeous colors right now. Again, I'm a big fan of this kind of stuff. Pipes and whatnot, which I think maybe a lot of people find not that interesting, but I have tons of photos like this. You know, of course, I'm always open. Like my kind of most prized photo would be some kind of a street photo, some cool moment back here where somebody's out here doing something. I don't know what, but something. So I'm really looking for that. But in the meantime, I'm not against shooting these other things. I've definitely said that in video before. I don't have a prejudice against things. So if I just pay attention to everything, which means I tend to move very slow through an area, but I don't always shoot a lot. Sometimes I don't see anything interesting and I'm observing, but I'm just walking along and I don't shoot. And that's okay too, because I'm not out here to shoot. I'm out here to perceive and explore, right? To try to discover something about the city and something about myself as well and the things that I'm interested in, right? To me, photography, again, is a mindful journey of self-discovery. It sounds a little corny when I say it like that, but that's really how I think about it. Love this blue hour, dusky atmosphere. It's like the best time to shoot around Tokyo. And here's one of the famous Marugen buildings with its little, I don't know how to say, display, museum full of statues. It's going to be really hard to shoot in this light and reflections and whatnot. Let's see here, can I get this girl? Yeah, oh, that's nice, that's nice. Cool. It's tricky though, with all the reflections, to keep myself out as well. I think I'm a little bit in. I could see Axel trying to duck out of the way to avoid being in the frame as well in the reflection. That's an interesting shot, something weird. Again, I bet you people walk by this all day, thousands of times. I've walked by this place many times, and every time I stop to look at it, or not stop, but at least I look in as I pass. It just fascinates me, right? That to me is photography. Okay, let me do one with the hood off, so that I can get like a clean shot without any reflections. Mainly to really show you guys what it's like in there. Nice, very sharp. 2-second exposure on f5.6 pressed against the glass, and you have some idea of what's in there. So basically, my understanding is this used to be like a building full of bars, clubs, nightclubs, stuff like that. And at one point it got shut down. We've explored one of the other Marugens, by the way, in recent videos. And eventually they took all these crazy Baroque statues and all this stuff that were decorating this building, which by the way dates back to like the 60s or something, so it's all kind of retro. And they just kind of pulled them all into this lobby area and just left them here. So it looks kind of like an antique shop, but this is not a store. Let's try to shoot it from this side. Oh yeah. So this is where like an ultra wide lens would be really nice to have. But whatever, I got what I got. This side's a little brighter, so I can speed things up. I'm gonna go to 1 second. Nice. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. This is where the EVF. This is one reason I got a mirrorless in the first place, because I like that I could just inside the EVF press the zoom button and just zoom in and see how I'm focusing manually. Very cool. Very useful. All right, guys, so we'll wrap it up here. You know, I shot these Marugen statues a bit. I think I got some interesting photos in there. I was kind of gunning for some kind of a street photo, but eventually I gave up for tonight. This is enough for this video. I think we got some cool stuff. I hope I gave you guys some food for thought regarding what it means to do photography and what is or isn't photography. I know my ideas in this case are like a little bit weird and a little bit trying to like make a clickbait title for a video, but I think you get my point, what I'm trying to encourage. It's not to overly emphasize these things and focus on what's up here, because that's what really matters when you're doing photography. All right, so thank you as always for watching, and you know, any questions or comments, please leave them below. I read all of them and try to answer all of them as well. And remember always, challenge your eye. Oh hey guys, you're still here. Wow, You must be a huge fan of iExplore to watch all the way to the end of the video. We really, really appreciate that. That's a huge help because it makes our videos more popular because the YouTube algorithm cares about these kinds of things. But since I have your attention still, I hope you know that we do have a Patreon and also YouTube channel memberships. And if you sign up with either of those, you could get access to our Tokyo Photo Spot map. Also, if you're interested in any of the gear that I use in the videos or also some of the gear that we use to shoot the videos, all of the referral links for that stuff is in the description below. And if you click on those, that also helps us out immensely. Finally, we do sell some merch. We have iExplore branded t-shirts, and also on my own personal homepage, I sell prints. So if that interests you, again, links in the description below. But just the fact that you guys watched all the way to the end, we really appreciate. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.